Coming to paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this all-new Spinsterella story. Pre-order your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer at Amazon.com and other online booksellers everywhere. Bronx father has been arrested and charged with taking the life of his 2-year-old son, who he allegedly threw into the East River.
But first, the father who police say threw his 2-year-old son in the Bronx River tonight is charged with murder. And good evening, everyone. At 6 o'clock, I'm Bill Ritter. Liz is off tonight. We're going to begin with that heartbreaking death of a toddler. We've been telling about it all week. 20-year-old Arius Williams, now charged with murder and manslaughter in the death of his son, 2-year-old Montrell. The little boy's body found in the East River earlier this week. The father is about to be arraigned. Eyewitness News reporter Janice Yu live at the Bronx courthouse with our lead story tonight. Janice.
Well, Bill, we've been here at the courthouse all day now waiting for this arraignment to happen, and I was still in court just about a few minutes ago. I am told now he is being seen by a judge, and inside the courtroom for this appearance is his mother, Arius Williams's mother, as well as his stepfather. There's also another family member there as well. Now, the 20-year-old was arrested yesterday and is now charged with 2 counts each of second-degree murder and manslaughter in the death of his 2-year-old son, Montrell. Investigators allege Williams threw the toddler into the water at Garrison Park in Hunts Point about a month ago, which was the last time family members saw Montrell. Now, police started the search for him on Monday when Williams reportedly told this boy's 17-year-old mother that he threw their child into the river. Investigators soon uncovered surveillance video that reportedly showed Williams throwing a bag into the Bronx River shortly after leaving his mother's home a month ago. Family members are now trying to make sense of why and how this all happened.
Nobody expected this at all, because he loved his son, but I don't know what drove him to this.
He kept calling him Daddy. He trusted him. He trusted him. He took his life.
Well, I'm getting updates from our colleague Sonia Rincon, who's in the courtroom right now, and she says so far the judge has issued an order of protection for the mother of the child. The defense has agreed to that as well. So as I mentioned, he is charged with 2 counts each of secondary murder and manslaughter. We're told it's 2 counts because the victim is under the age of 11. In the Melrose section of the Bronx, Janice Yu, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place over Mother's Day weekend last month, 2-year-old Montrell Williams was scheduled to have a visitation with his father, 20-year-old Arius Williams. And as he was scheduled to have this visitation with his father, Arius Williams, they went to the apartment of his mother for a Mother's Day celebration. And as they went to that apartment for that Mother's Day celebration, Arius Williams allegedly got into an argument with his mother. And as he got into an argument with his mother, he then took his son, Montrell Williams, stormed out of the apartment, and then was allegedly seen standing over a overpass of a bridge near Bruckner Boulevard, throwing a bag over the bridge that landed in the river. And as this bag was thrown over the river, he then went allegedly to a cousin's house without the child, and that caused a lot of people concern. And as it caused people concern, the child's 17-year-old mother became extremely distressed when she found out that Arius Williams had been out here without her son, who had been scheduled for this visitation. And this is where she wound up contacting the family court regarding her son's disappearance. Now, as she contacted the family court regarding the disappearance of her son. During this visitation, she began to run to confront the child's father, Arius Williams, and eventually saw him on June 8th, where almost a month after the child's disappearance, she then spotted Arius Williams on the street getting off a bus. And as she tried to confront him regarding that whole situation, this is where Arius Williams told her he took the boy, leading her to St. Mary's Park, where he allegedly pulled a knife and threatened her, and then told her to shut the F up, allegedly, and she threw the N-word in the water before going onto the subway. And this is where police took him into custody regarding the family court warrant regarding the disappearance of the son. And as they took him into Rikers Island, eventually they found the child's, possibly found the child's body in the East River. And basically, this is where police have taken him into custody and charged him with the second-degree murder of his own son. Now, the NYPD see the alleged behavior of Arius Williams as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged behavior of Arius Williams, it definitely fits the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis. And it's clear to me that Arius Williams was a man in crisis because he did not have the male life skills or male survival skills in order to understand that his life was going to change once he got involved with this, I believe, 14 or 15-year-old girl and got her pregnant. Now, what happened here to Arius Williams was he basically got a sexual miseducation as related to having a relationship, and as he got involved with this young woman who was definitely underage, he basically got this girl pregnant after he had sex with her. And what he didn't understand is that when you go out here and you have sex with a girl, your possibilities of getting that girl pregnant are extremely high. And because he didn't understand this, he thought he could just go out here and run these streets and basically get with whoever he wanted, not understanding he was playing roulette with his penis and gambling in a situation that would possibly wind up changing his life. Now, what happened here with Arius Williams is what happens to many young men who don't have fathers in their lives or mothers who have a good understanding or to teach their boys about a healthy sexual education. No, what happened here is that this boy, because he got a sexual miseducation from Madison Avenue in Hollywood, thought he was going to be like one of these Pookies, basically running these streets, thought he could go out here and run these streets and basically get with all of these females, not understanding he was gambling with his own penis, and that he basically, his whole life was going to change once he got one of these girls pregnant. That's what many males don't understand, because they don't have a mother or a father who are disciplined enough to give him a good sexual education, to tell him that when you go out here and you have sex with these girls, basically your whole life can change. And when that whole situation happens and that girl becomes pregnant, this is where people are expecting you to start taking responsibility as a man and take ownership of things, because as a man, you are established by God to be his head. You are established by God to be his steward, and part of your stewardship is taking care of your family. But when it comes down to beta males, because they are coddled and spoiled by their mothers, what happens is these boys don't get those male life skills. No, they wind up getting female life skills, thinking that someone else is going to take responsibility for their problems. And what happens is because they are forced into a position where they have to take a leadership role, this is what makes these men extremely resentful. And instead of them celebrating the joy of having their first child, many of these guys are simmering and boiling in anger because their lives are changing, and they're simmering and boiling in anger because their lives are changing, and they can't go out here and run these streets and run through all of these different girls. No, people are expecting them to go out here and be the man that they're supposed to be and set a standard for things by having to take care of their child. But these men don't want to take care of the child. No, They basically are angry because they are being made to take responsibility for a situation that they put themselves in. And that's where these men have issues, because they don't understand that the world is different for a man than a woman. And when it comes to a man, people are expecting you to carry your own weight. No, men are expected to, again, be able to take care of their business from an early age. And if you're not in a place where you understand this principle, what's going to happen to a lot of guys, especially beta males who've been coddled by their mothers, is these men become extremely frustrated and extremely angry because they did not expect this to happen, because mom has been giving them everything they want, has been spoiling them and giving them whatever they want. And now they're told that the world is going to expect something different. And that's where this guy basically was in a place where he was dealing with the pressure of not only a baby mama, but also the pressure of his own mama. And as he was dealing with those pressures, this is where this guy basically came to this Mother's Day celebration as related to the visitation that he had. And this created an entire powder keg situation as related to that mother and on Mother's Day, because this guy again was coddled and spoiled to believe that he was the center of attention, and now mama was going out here having expectations of him to handle his business with his own son. And that's where I believe the argument wound up starting. The entire argument wound up starting because mama was expecting this boy to take the role of a man, but he could not take the role of a man because he basically was raised possibly in a female-headed household, and just like another female, he was upset because on Mother's Day he could not be the center of attention. And that's where I believe he wound up getting so upset that he took his son out of his mother's home. And after he took his son out of his mother's home, this is where he took the boy and put him in a bag and allegedly possibly threw him into the water, and then went to his cousin's house and acted like nothing absolutely ever happened. And after he did this, the people were wondering what happened to this boy. And what they didn't understand was that this boy was basically had a father who wasn't ready to be a man. And as he exploded in this rage, what he did was act impulsively, not ever thinking about his actions whatsoever. He was just thinking about sating his feelings as related to the anger he had regarding the responsibility that was put on him. He was basically, again, looking to sate those feelings because this guy was basically emotional just like a female. And this is what makes beta males extremely dangerous, is that, again, they have the physical strength of a man, but the emotions of a female, and they'll participate in destructive behavior as they're looking to sate their feelings. And after they wind up sating their feelings, they basically go on like nothing has happened, not understanding the impact and damage they have done to the life of someone. And that's what happened here with 2-year-old Montrell Williams. He basically was in a situation with this beta male father, where this beta male father sated his feelings and acted like absolutely nothing happened, and went back to roaming these streets after allegedly throwing this bag over the overpass. And again, this was seen inside of a video that took place outside on the street, so there's hard evidence of this possibly happening. And as this was going on, he had no regard for the mother whatsoever, had no regard for the family whatsoever. And this is where people again were concerned about this boy disappearing for over a month. And eventually the mother had gone and confronted this guy as related to this situation. Again, you would think a father would be concerned for his son, but this guy didn't care about his son. I mean, basically called his son an N-word, again, showing how little regard he had for his son, because he was so angry about, again, not being able to run these streets and be able to smash whoever he wanted. He basically got smashed by life, and as related to him not understanding your life changes when you go out here and have sex with girls. Basically, you're gambling with your penis and may possibly get one of these girls pregnant. This is something this beta male didn't understand, because he thought his definition of manhood was going out here and having sex with women, but not understanding that the true definition of manhood as related to God is related to your role as a head, as related to being a steward and taking responsibility for a family. No, this guy basically wanted to run these streets and was mad he couldn't run the streets, so he wanted to take it out on his son. And as he took it out on his son, he allegedly possibly threw this boy in the river, and Montrell Williams, at 2 years old, wound up losing his life, all because allegedly, possibly, his father could not understand how to be a man and wasn't ready to take on that responsibility of a man, basically frustrated by the pressures on him as related to having to deal with the family courts, having to deal with the parents from his mother's side tickling to make him take responsibility. All of this led to this guy basically, again, simmering and boiling in anger, and then eventually winding up exploding in this rage. And sadly, a 2-year-old child has possibly lost their life, all because this male wasn't ready to be a man. And because he wasn't ready to be a man, he looked to do harm possibly to this boy, and now has gone from being able to run these streets the way he wanted to do to now running into Rikers Island. And if he has been, if evidence connects everything to it as related to this possible confession, I mean, if this possible confession is true, basically this guy has gone from being able to run these streets to now having to run into the penitentiary with the CO, and has to deal with the social pecking order, not of the Fly Girls, but will be dealing with the social pecking order of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles. And when they find out what he did to his own son, they're not going to be kind to him, as they wind up trading Dude for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, Keef coffee, Taster's Choice coffee, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand mango drink, off-brand strawberry kiwi drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand lemonade, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, Hunt's snack pack puddings, packets of Velveeta cheese, packets of soy sauce, packets of sriracha sauce, packets of honey mustard, prison chips, honey pretzels. I mean, all the items of the commissary, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle pies, and basically they gonna wind up curb stomping Dude before they wind up spit roasting him. And eventually what they're gonna do is eventually, after they spit roast him, Mr. Sprinkle's gonna come in and then spray the front side and the back side with his special sauce, and then he's gonna call all the guys from Cell Block D to see this dude's face in a complete embarrassment as he splits the cheeks open and shows this dude's backside looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. And this is the fate that this man, if he is convicted and these charges are true, would deserve for, again, going out here and taking a 2-year-old boy, again, an innocent life, as related to things, because he wasn't ready to take responsibility as a man, wasn't ready to take responsibility as a man and take ownership of his life. No, this dude basically, again, because he felt he couldn't deal with the responsibility of being a father, went out here and took the life of his son. And for that complete depraved indifference to human life, this guy, again, will deserve everything that he gets for taking the life of this child. Now, I don't know what's worse, is his father or the whole family court system. Again, this boy basically was disappeared for an entire month, and the family court system basically didn't do a thorough enough investigation. But the whole thing is, this guy wasn't ready to be a man, and again, wasn't ready to be a man because of the dysfunctional way we raise boys to become men. And in the black community, we have a dysfunctional way of raising boys to become men, because these boys get a complete sexual miseducation, and that sexual miseducation basically tells them they can go out here and run these streets, smash whoever they want, and never think critically about the consequences of their actions. because, again, mama is too ashamed to tell this boy, again, about sex. And again, dad's not there to tell him. Again, you don't get involved with these girls until you get yourself ready and established as a man. And that's basically what led to this guy, again, at 20 years old, going from being a free man to now being a guy who's possibly on his road to a life sentence. Again, this was a male who's on the road to becoming a man in crisis ever since he was very young. And what happened to him is that he didn't understand how to be a man, and now his life is going to be a major crisis at this point, because he's gone from being a guy who had his freedom and possibly just was only going to deal with the family courts to now having to deal with the penitentiary, and now is a man in crisis. Now, if you want to learn how to identify the behavior of a beta male like this so that you can either help the young man in your life or be able to avoid a type of guy like this if you're a woman, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft to Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you'd like to see me make more videos about The Man Crisis and the season of The Simp, where this guy came from because he was one of those children of the corn, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of The Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteemed Season of The Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Way in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.